Hello, we've had a great start to the school year, but with that, I do have the September board meeting information for everyone. First of all, prior to the board meeting, we did have our tax rate levy hearing, and this is something that we have to do every year before we set our tax levy here in the Independent School District. So I'm actually going to read through a number of figures for everyone, so if you'll excuse me while I look down at my notes as I go through some of this. But first of all, our published assessed valuation for the Independent School District that we received on July 3rd was $1,558,861,301. Now, if you compare this to last year's assessed valuation numbers, they were $1,635,110,960. So since last year, we've actually lost $7,624,966 worth of assessed revenue. And that really plays a part into what I'm going to talk about as far as us setting our tax rate for this upcoming school year. Our operating levy for this upcoming year will be $4.31.90. This is an increase from last year that was set at $4.19.09. Now, I do want to remind everyone, last year we did have a levy ballot measure in August, which I'm so thankful that our patrons did approve, and it allowed us to bring in over 20 new staff members, as well as give substantial raises here in the Independent School District. Now, when we did that, the ballot language did say that the levy we would set would be $4.31.90. Now, that number sounds familiar because that is what our levy is going to be this year. So if you go back to last year when we set our levy, we had passed the new levy that the voters approved. Whenever we went to set our tax levy, we did not take all of what we had asked for because our assessed valuation had gone up higher than what we'd expected. So as a school district, we voluntarily rolled that levy back. So we did that to save taxpayers money. Now we jump to this year, our assessed valuation actually has now gone down. So we are going to put that levy at the rate that we asked our voters to approve last August. So again, our operating levy will be $4.31.90, and our debt service levy will be 91.81 cents, and that's staying the same as what it was this past year. So with all of that, if you look at how much revenue the Independent School District brought in last year compared to what we will bring in this year, again, remembering that our assessed valuation did decrease, we will bring in less than 1% more revenue than what we did last year. Actually, if we have a 100% collection rate, we will bring in 0.51% more revenue this upcoming year. So I just want to explain that to everyone, just as I did at the tax rate levy hearing. So once that was completed, I did go ahead and I addressed those in the audience about some of the things that we're experiencing here in the Independent School District, as well as what other school districts not only across the metro are experiencing, but really across the country. And that is so many threats towards schools. In other words, threatening to have a shooting at a school over social media. And as I said here before you today, I am asking for your help as parents, as patrons, and then if we have any students watching this. Whenever we have a threat or you see a threat online, please, number one, let the Independence Police Department know, as well as the Independence School District. But then after that, please do not repost those threats. What it does is it really slows down our ability to find the original post so that we can find out if the threat is credible or not. It is very, very important not to repost those threats. Anytime that we experience a threat here in the Independent School District, the first thing that we do is notify our public safety officer and then also the Independence Police Department. Beyond that, we also then notify the FBI. So they're the ones that will do a lot of the legwork tracking down the origination of the post. Once we're able to identify the original post, then we get a subpoena. Typically it's for Snapchat, but it could also be other social media devices, social media companies such as Twitter or Instagram in which a threat may have came in on. So again, please talk to your children. Do not repost those threats that they see on social media. Now, I know that's a lot, but beyond that, after I did talk a little bit about the problems everybody's experiencing with school shooting threats, we did go ahead and have the regular school board meeting. And with that, we did have the consent agenda, and we did have bills totaling $16,226,516.13. This is very typical. It's about $600,000 more than last year at this time. But if you look at what the inflation is, that comes out to what we really would expect based on our expenditures this year versus last year. Also, we did let bids for a weight room addition at Bingham Middle School. If you look at our 3 middle schools, Pioneer Ridge's square footage for their weight room is about 2,063 square feet. Nowlands is 2,015, but Bingham's is only 1,015 square feet. The space that we have the weight room in was never actually intended to be a weight room. It was intended to be a classroom. So we're going to push the exterior wall out to the west and give both the teacher and those kids a lot more space for their weights classes. Also, item number 4 was the approval to let bids for replacement of windows at Cordy Elementary and at Nowland Middle School. We are going ahead and putting these bids out now because the lead time on this will be very significant. The plans would be to get those windows in and then start installing them this upcoming summer. Under superintendent's report, I did talk about the start of the year. Again, we've had a very good start to the school year, minus all of the social media threats that school districts have been experiencing. Our enrollment is up again this year. So our K-12 enrollment, as in Power School, on the Friday prior to the school board meeting was 13,924 students. This is compared to last year where it was 13,837 students. And the year prior, we were at 13,416 students. Now, sometimes enrollment isn't always exactly accurate because we keep kids in our system in Power School until we get records requests if they do leave and go to another school district. So once we get past 21 days, we will start removing kids from Power School that have never shown up. So one of the things that I like to do is look at our average daily attendance. In other words, I call it our pockets in seats. That really tells us how many kids are coming to school. So as far as a few numbers on this, if you look at our ADA through the first 3 weeks of school, this year we were at 12,481 average daily attendance. This is compared to last year at 12,321. And then the prior year to that, we were at 12,352. So we do know for sure that we are going to be up in enrollment at least through the first 3 weeks, and we expect that to continue throughout the year. And then we did go on to new business. Item number 1 under new business was a presentation on the building renovations and summer projects. We had a lot of work going on here in the Independence School District, and that included everything from remodeling at Nowland Middle School and their lunchroom and their band and their choir rooms to new science classrooms at Nowland Middle School as well as Bridger, and we had turf that went in. Lots of asphalt and concrete work also occurred this summer. So through all of that, we did want to give pictures to the Board of Education so they were able to see some of the progress we made. Then item number 2, we had the approval of the proposed tax rate levy. And as I said earlier, we did have the hearing prior to the board meeting, so I won't go through all of those numbers again, but the board did on a 7-0 vote approve our tax rate for this upcoming school year. Item 3 was the approval of the 2024-2025 transportation routes. So for this year, we will have 205 unique bus routes, and this is compared to 202 last year. Item number 4 was the approval to purchase Chromebooks. The winning bidder is CDWG, that is through the Ed Plus contract. We are going to purchase 800 Chromebooks, and that totals $235,832. Item number 5 under new business was the approval to purchase all-in-one computers. These will be Dell all-in-one computers, 165 of them, and the cost of this will be $192,885. And again, this is through the Ed Plus contract. And these computers will actually go to our secretaries, and their current computers are approaching their end of life with their Windows 10 system. So this will be a nice upgrade for them. And then lastly, and we do this quarterly, we had the declaration of surplus items. And again, we always put those items on GovDeals. So if you're ever interested in things that the school district is selling, please go to govdeals.com. With that, that is the September board report. And before I go, first of all, parents, thank you for getting your children to school. Our staff has done a great job through all of these threats. But as I end on this, here's the thing that I want to tell everyone. Number one, we take safety in the ISD very, very seriously. Any threat that comes in, we are going to investigate it. And the thing I always like to tell people is my own child is a senior in one of our high schools this year. My wife works at one of our high schools as well. I would never put their lives in danger, just as I would never put any of our employees or your children in danger. So if we are having school, it is because we have been able to work with our local law enforcement as well as the FBI to deem that a threat is not credible. I'm always happy to answer any questions if you reach out, want to know the process on how we determine whether to have school or not. But with that, thank you for all of your support for the Independent School District, and have a great September.